Okay, today we're tackling a question that's, well, it's a little uncomfortable, but it's getting more urgent every single day. Is the very tech we built to make us smarter actually doing the opposite? I mean, think about it. The more we use amazing tools like ChatGPT, the more we lean on artificial intelligence. But what if all that reliance is hollowing out our own intelligence? The thing is, recent scientific research is starting to paint a pretty shocking picture, suggesting we're not just getting a little help from AI, we might be getting weaker because of it. Just think back, maybe 10 years ago. How many phone numbers did you have memorized? Probably a few, right? Your best friends, your house, maybe a pizza place. Now, you're lucky if you know your own. We used to get around town by remembering streets and landmarks, building this map in our heads. Now, we just stare at a blue dot on a screen. And look, I know these seem like small, trivial things, but they're symptoms of a much bigger shift. And this isn't just a gut feeling. There's a growing pile of scientific evidence that's showing us exactly what's happening inside our skulls when we decide to outsource our thinking to AI. Let's start with this huge study from the MIT Media Lab. Researchers wanted to see, like for real, what happens to our brain activity when we use AI. So they hooked people up to EEG scans to measure it directly while they were working. So here's what they did, and this is where it gets crazy. They had 3 groups write an essay. One used ChatGPT, one used Google Search, and a control group used nothing. The results from those brain scans were wild. The ChatGPT group showed way less brain activity. The researchers literally described their brains as being switched off. And it got worse. Over time, those people got lazier, just copying and pasting answers. And the kicker? They couldn't even remember what they'd written. And it's not just students in a lab. A second study, this one from Microsoft and Carnegie Mellon, looked at over 300 professional workers. And well, they found the exact same troubling pattern. And this was the bottom line. The more people relied on AI to do their work, the less they engaged in any actual critical thinking. It's like their problem-solving muscles just started to atrophy. Their goal wasn't to solve the problem anymore. It was just to figure out the right way to ask the AI to solve it for them. This whole phenomenon actually has a name. It's called cognitive offloading. It's just a fancy way of saying we're handing over our mental heavy lifting to an outside tool, whether that's a calculator, a smartphone, or now AI, or outsourcing the thinking. And you know what? Our brain is more than happy to take the break. But hang on a second. You might be thinking, haven't we heard this all before, right? Every time some new fancy technology comes along, people start panicking that it's going to make us all dumber. And you're not wrong. This has been going on forever. I mean, you can go all the way back to ancient Greece, where Socrates himself was worried that the invention of writing would destroy everyone's memory. Fast forward to the 1970s, and teachers were convinced calculators would ruin kids' math skills. And even more recently, in 2011, the Google effect proved we stopped remembering facts and instead just remembered how to find them. So is AI just the latest boogeyman? Is this all just hype? Well, researchers are saying not exactly. They're pointing to one specific area where the threat feels much, much bigger: navigation apps. And this is where it gets genuinely concerning. The real danger, it turns out, lies in a critical part of our brain called the hippocampus. You see, building a mental map of the world around you is one of the toughest jobs for your brain. It gives the hippocampus a major workout. But here's the deal. The hippocampus isn't just your brain's internal GPS. It's an absolute powerhouse. It's essential for forming new memories, for learning new things, for imagining the future. It even helps us connect totally different ideas together. So when we stop using our navigation skills, we stop exercising this incredibly vital part of our brain. To really understand what that mental exercise does, just look at this number. Before GPS, London taxi drivers had to memorize a mind-blowing 25,000 streets to pass their insane test called the knowledge. So what was the result of all that intense mental training? A landmark study back in 2000 found that these cabbies had physically larger hippocampi. Their brains had actually grown and rewired themselves because of the challenge. So when we just blindly follow GPS, yeah, the exact opposite is happening. And this all leads us to this really fundamental conflict, this paradox, really, about how our brain is wired versus what it actually needs to get stronger. On one hand, your brain is what scientists call a cognitive miser. I mean, get this. It's only about 2% of your body weight, but it burns 20% of your energy. So over millions of years, it has evolved to be incredibly efficient by always taking the easiest possible route. If there's a shortcut, your brain is going to take it. But, and this is the huge paradox, for your brain to actually learn and grow and build those strong connections, it needs the exact opposite of easy. It needs friction. It needs to struggle. It needs to make mistakes. Without that mental effort, our brain just doesn't get the workout it needs. When AI makes everything effortless, our brain doesn't get stronger. Okay, so that all sounds pretty bleak, I know, but it doesn't have to be. There is a clear way forward, and it really just involves thinking about our brains in a slightly different way. We get this concept perfectly when it comes to our bodies, right? We all know that with cars and desk jobs, we have to choose to go to the gym to stay healthy. Well, that exact same use it or lose it idea applies to our brain. We have to intentionally give it challenges to keep it sharp. Now, the obvious answer might seem to be, okay, let's just boycott AI, get rid of it. But come on, that's not realistic. The tools are too powerful. The productivity gains are so huge that if you abandon it completely, you'd be left in the dust. So the real solution is finding the best of both worlds. Absolutely use AI. Use it as a powerful assistant to get more done, but never ever let go of your fundamental skills. Keep writing, keep doing basic math in your head, and most importantly, keep thinking for yourself. You have to consciously choose to give your brain a workout. And this is really the key takeaway from all of this. It's not a choice between one or the other. We don't have to sacrifice our own intelligence just to get the convenience of AI. If we're just aware of this, if we're intentional about it, we can absolutely have both. We can have our own sharp mind and the power of artificial intelligence. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. If your brain really is a muscle, one that gets stronger with use and weaker with neglect, what are you going to do today to train it? How are you going to give it the workout it actually deserves?